So students, today we are going to learn about the poem The Road Not Taken, and the poet of this poem is a very famous American poet, Robert Frost. And if you are new to my channel The Study Buzz, then please go and like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. First of all, we are going to know something about the poem and about the poem popularity and some important things about the poet and the poem. So actually this poem was written by Robert Frost and was published in 1961. The Road Not Taken as nostalgic commentary on life choices, and this poem is about life from the perspective of a young narrator who decides to seize the road less traveled by. So this poem is based on the choices the parts of a person faces in his life. So let's go into the poem. So in the first paragraph of the poem we are reading here, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, and to where it bent in the undergrowth. So here in the first paragraph we come to know that the poet is the traveler in the poem. So you need to remember that the poet is the traveler in the poem and he is traveling through roads, and at a point he finds two roads that diverge in yellow wood. And here the word yellow wood means autumn season forest. Yellow refers to the autumn season color, means the autumn season, and wood refers to the forest. And sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and as both the roads diverge in different directions, from a point it bifurcates into different directions, and be one single traveler, it is not possible for the poet to go through or to travel both the roads at the same time. And he stood at the point where the two roads bifurcates and looked both the roads how far as it goes. I looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, and by standing at the point where the two roads diverged, he sees that both the roads goes in the undergrowth. That means both the roads bends into different roads. Now the second paragraph. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps a better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. So here in the second paragraph we are coming to know that then took the other just as fair, and in the second paragraph we come to know that the poet, who is the traveler in the poem, he chose the second road, means the other road, and he thought that it will be giving him a better claim and it will be claiming him better from the first road, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Grassy means and wanted wear refers to that here is a symbolism, a thing is said here, a thing is been symbolized that grassy means what? The road is grassy and wanted wear means no one traveled through that road, that the road which is traveled by the poet is traveling, the poet is selecting the first road, which is not the second road, in which he comes to know that the road is wanted wear and it was grassy and it was not traveled by most of the people. Very less people travel through that road, and because it was wanted wear and grassy, wanted wear means very less people traveled, and you can say no people travel that road. Very less people travel, and it was full of grass. Though as for the passing there had warned them really about the same. So here he is again saying that even though that the second road is traveled more by the people, but till then it was looking the same. Both the roads were looking the same because the poet was traveling the road in the morning time. In the early morning he was traveling, so in the morning time very less people travel through the road, so that he come to know that even though the second road is traveled more by less by people, but in that morning both the roads looked same, both the roads were really about the same they looked, because it was a morning time and in morning very less people travel. So now we come in the third paragraph, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So in the third paragraph we come to know that as I have said you, that the poet is a traveler in the poem and he is traveling on early in the morning. So both the roads were looking same and both the roads equally lay in the morning, because very less people travel in the morning time, but in usual time the first road is travelled more by people and the second road, which is selected by the poet, is travelled less by people. In leaves no step had trodden black. So in morning time he was traveling. Trodden black means step foot image of step foot, that dark black image of step foot, trodden black. So no steps, the fresh leaves, autumn season leaves are falling on the roads, and no step foot image he can see because he was traveling early in the morning. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Again he says that he is consoling himself, he is also doubting himself that, and he is also consoling himself that he kept the first road for another day, and he is now continuing his journey through the second road, yet knowing how way leads on to way. And he also says that he knew that how one road leads on to way, but till I am consoling myself that if I get a chance to come back and go through the first road, then I will definitely come back and go through the first road, and I will travel through the first road. But he knows it is not possible for him, because once he had reached his destination from the second road, it is not possible for him to get the same time and the same moment to select the road. But still he is consoling himself. I doubted if I should ever come back. And again he at last completely say that he is doubting himself, that it is possible or not for me to come back and go through the second road, first road. So as he is traveling from the second road, then how he can come back and go through the first road, he is still completely doubting. But till then he is selecting the second road, which is traveled less by people. Less people travel the second road. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, here hence means the future, two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So here it is said that he will be telling, so he is thinking in himself by standing at that point where the two roads bifurcate or the two roads diverge, by thinking that if I go through the second road and when I will get my destination, I will be a winner. When I will be a winner in getting my destination, and I will be very happy, that time I will be saying that ages and ages hence, two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So here he says that, and also he is thinking in himself that if I get through the second road and I get my destination right there, so he will be saying it with a sigh, means with a reliefness, that one time he was traveling through and he got two roads and he chose the second, the less travelled by, and it had all made the difference, and he was a different person. He was not the common one who are traveling from the first road. Many people travel through first road, but he was a different person, and he won that differenceness, and he was the different and he was unique, but traveling through the second road, which is travel less by people. In this poem, we come to know the choices people make and the choice made by Robert Frost in his life in taking two roads. So let's go into the meaning of the poem and the poet. So we are now going to know about the poem about and the poet. This well-known poem is about making choices and the choices that shape us. Robert Frost is an American poet who writes simply but insightfully about common ordinary experiences. This poem is a universal and autobiographical poem because this poem is based on the choices of human life or parts of human life. So this poem is autobiographical poem also and a universal poem. Why autobiographical? Because in this poem he explained about the choice he need to make in his life in choosing his profession, either as a poet or as a farmer or as a doctor or a common kind of professions, and poet, because poet, the word poet, the poet profession is very much less people go through this poet profession and accept this profession, and very few people get the right into his winning path. So that path was got by Robert Frost, and this poem is universally well known because here it is a very common poem and it is giving us a insightful meaning that how it comes in everyone's life for taking any one choice between two. So it is a universal poem because this kind of situations come in everyone's life. So there are some poetic devices in this poem. So first of all we will go through the rhyme scheme. So let's go back to the poem. So in here you can consider any one paragraph and you can take out the rhyme scheme. So let's read the first paragraph only. Two roads diverge near Yellowwood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So here you can find the last words common you can find out. So if we write this, the yellow wood, if we write this yellow wood as A, so we take it as A. Then sorry I could not travel both, so we take it as B. And then, and be one traveler long I stood wood, so these two are matching, so we write it again as A. And look down one as far as I could, so you can have could, would, stood, so these are matching, A, so more on A. To where it been in the undergrowth, both and undergrowth are matching, so we write here B. So what we get the rhyme scheme here, we get AB. So the rhyme scheme of this poem is AB, which is very important for you to know. Okay. So the rhyme scheme of the poem is AB. So there are total 5 lines in the poem. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the one we get the rhyme scheme of the poem AB. You can look it out if any problem you find out in the rhyme scheme. So there are also some poetic devices you can look. Rhyme scheme we have took, metaphor is there, imagery, simile, assonance, consonance, personification, parallelism. So we got the rhyme scheme and the other will be given to you. Before that we will look some very important meanings which is referred in your book, so just look it out. Here it is written, diverged means separated and took a different direction. You can clear it out through these meanings. Undergrowth, dense growth of plants and bushes. Here comes for the wanted where, I have said you had not been used. Hence means here in the future, so here hence is used as in the future one. So yeah, now we will thinking about the poem. If we look about this, some questions are mentioned here, so let's read it out. Where does the traveler find himself? What problem does he face? So this is asked to you that what does the traveler find himself? So where does the traveler find himself? In a yellow wood, at a point where the two roads bifurcates into different two direction. What problem does he face? He faces the problem that which road he should select to continue his journey. Discuss what these phrases mean. So here are some phrases, total 1 2 3 4 5 phrases are given. A yellow wood, it was grassy and wanted where? A yellow wood, it was grassy and wanted where? The passing there, leaves no shape but trodden black. How way leads on to way. So here it is a yellow wood. Yellow wood, I have said you, autumn season forest. It was grassy and wanted where? Grassy means full of grasses, wanted where means it had not been used by people, very less people used that road. So the meaning of here, the passing there, the 3 number answer is, it implies the use of the path by passers-by. So it implies the use of the path by passers-by, the passing there. And comes for the 4th number, leaves no stay but trodden black. It means that the leaves had not been crushed under the feet of travelers as it was travelled by people. It could represent a path one may never or seldom have taken in life for the fear of earth's uncertainty. So this is one more. Here comes for the 5th number. Here it is given that how way leads on to way. So this is the 5th number question. So the answer of this question is, this phrase means how certain decisions one make in life could pave the way for many other decisions. So this means it is a phrase, it is a used phrase that how one way leads on to another way. How if we select a road, then it divides into more roads and we need to select again more one. So this kind of uncertainties decisions you can talk about. So now we come for the 3rd question. Is there any difference between the two roads as the poet describes them? So here it is said. So 1 number, in stanza 2 or 3. Yes, there is. In stanza 2, the poet explained that the only difference between two roads was that the road he took had the right to be chosen, and it was giving a better claim also, because it was covered with grass and looked as if it had not been used too much. Besides this difference, both the roads had been equally worn down by passers by travelling on them. And the 2nd paragraph for this, in stanza 3, so 2 and 3 is said, 2 is explained, now 3 number. In stanza 3, the poet say that both the roads were equally covered with leaves and that no person had stepped on, that road. So 2 number, in the last 2 lines of the poem. So here it is given in the last 2 lines of the poem. You can find out the last 2 lines of the poem. So this answer of this question is, in the last 2 lines of the poem, the poet says that there is a difference between the two roads because he has taken the road that is less traveled by other people, and that has made all difference to his journey. Now the last question, 4 number question, what do you think the last 2 lines of the poem mean? Okay, the last 2 lines of the poem shows that the acceptance of reality, the poet made a choice of accepted the challenging path. He took that uncertain path and explored his life. He wanted to do something different in his life. So these are the all finishing questions, important questions mentioned in a copy. So these are the important questions, and there is also a phrase kind of given in the last of your book. You can read it out. Time is not measured by the passing of years, but by what one does, what one feels, and what one achieves, by Jawaharlal Nehru. And at last the poetic devices will be given to you. So keep watching.